Hey guys, Nerdson here. So today I'm going to show you guys a build that I've been using in Elden Ring. So this is my second character, and I decided I want to do a bleed build because I'd just seen so many people using bleed builds and it looked pretty successful. And a lot of people had a lot of varying success, but I found some stuff that like catapults bleed from being like strong to just kind of unfair. I have a few videos on my channel where I'm like killing Moog and Melania, and I'm gonna start uploading some more videos where I'm using various builds in Elden Ring and playing around and stuff. But you can see in those videos like I am absolutely just shredding through bosses that are pretty difficult in endgame, all things considered. And the main reason is because of Mimic Tear ashes. If you don't like summons, that's cool. This is still really strong. It's super strong, but Mimic Tear ashes kind of take most builds from being powerful to being brain dead easy. And this goes from being brain dead easy to begin with to just like probably in need of nerf. Uh, so to start, we'll take a peep at stats. I'm rune level 146 right now. I'm probably gonna end up being 150. You can probably do this build anywhere from like 120 to 150. The really important thing here is to have 60 arcane. I have 50 dex. You could get away with 40. I have 30 endurance. You could go from whatever you want, like 20 all the way up to 50. It doesn't really matter. High vigor matters a lot. That's just kind of a given. Um, but really, the main stats here, this isn't really about the stats. The main stats that you care about here is Dex and Arcane. Uh, Arcane, I don't claim to know the math. I don't claim to know what's going on with soft caps and stuff yet. I haven't really delved deep into doing stats and mathing out min maxes and all that. But Arcane, I can tell you, the blood loss buildup is absolutely ridiculous. It scaled extremely well all the way up to 60. I never once was like, wow, I'm dumping useless arcane stat now. It's uh extremely strong. So like a good example is Reduvia. This one's plus 10, this one's plus 9. You can see that 94 blood loss buildup. This normally has, I think it starts with 30 or 33. Um, and you can see it has a B arcane scaling, and that's why. So the way bleed works in this game is it only scales with arcane. So it does not matter if there's bleed on a weapon, it will not scale with the arcane stat unless there is specifically an arcane scaling. A good example of this would be these Uchikatanas that I have. They're keen, they don't have any arcane scaling. If I put blood on them, they would. But since I don't have blood on them, you can see there is 0 arcane scaling, and the blood loss buildup is 45. If I had blood on this, the blood loss buildup would probably be significantly higher. You can see this with Rivers of Blood. This one's 75. It's definitely not 75 flat with no arcane. You can see Moonveil is the standard 50 because it has no arcane scaling. And then you can see with the claws I've been using, 112 blood loss buildup. Absolutely insane. Uh, and that's essentially it. So for me, the two main weapons of this build are the hook claws and the Reduvias. Although really any fast swinging power stance weapons that you can put blood on and get pretty high blood loss buildup would be excellent. It's really not so much about the AR of the weapons and about the just stacking bleed so tremendously fast. You can see that with the Reduvias, they still actually have pretty good AR, all things considered. That's why I've been using them more than the hook claws. Plus, I like the moveset. So the Serpent bow is another thing. You don't have to have this, but I just thought it was really neat. It helps induce poison, and I use Serpent arrows, which are poison. And it does scale with arcane. You can see the arcane stat there. And if you use the weapon skill, it poisons in one hit on almost anything. You can see that one hit poison on that guy. And you can see that it took 2 hits to bleed him, but these guys are too squishy to really see the full effects of the bleed. Another thing to note is that the Reduvia and the Hook Claws both have a 110 critical, so they do a little bit more damage on crits. If you want to run the crit Talisman, you could probably get some pretty nutty damage out of it. But moving on to the Talismans, this one right here, Lord of Blood's Exultation. This is necessary. You cannot run this build without this. It gives you 20% increased attack power when anything bleeds in the area. Like, if you're relatively close to it and it bleeds, you'll get attack power. It doesn't matter if you're the one that bled them. It doesn't matter if you bleed yourself. It doesn't matter if something bled you. So Seppuku Art of Wars, that you bleed yourself, they do work with this. 20%, needless to say, that's extremely strong. And with, the fact that you bleed every 2 seconds on this build, you always have that buff pumping. And it's just so ridiculously strong. And you can tell when the buff is up. For one, you'll have a status indicator near your health bar, but you'll also see this aura that I'm about to trigger really quick. So you see that little red aura around my character now, and you see the red little buff under my stamina bar. That's an indicator that the buff is pumping. And it lasts for a little bit, as you see. I still have the buff, and it's been well over 10 seconds now. So, yeah. So it looks like it lasts about 15 seconds before you have to re-bleed. But since you bleed so fast on this build, like I said, you'll always have that buff running. So the other talismans don't really matter. I have Arsenal Charm, just so I could wear extra armor. I haven't finished this build yet. It's not 100% ready to go, but it's really versatile. It's essentially just a bleed build. the general idea. I use this for stamina recovery speed, and I still have this on because I'm still farming runes a little bit to get to 150. So to show you where to get some of this stuff, I'm going to show you how to get the Reduvia, and I'm also going to show you how to get the Serpent Bow, and I'll show you how to get this Talisman. And I'm also going to show you how to get the Mimic Tears because they're just so ridiculously powerful. Alright, so here we are at the Leonell Catacombs, and here you will find the Lord of Blood's Exultation Talisman. This is the one that gives you the 20% extra AR. The boss of this catacomb will drop it. And to get here, you have to go to the capital, obviously. And there is a well you can drop down, and it takes you to a different area. I would show you what it looks like, but I already beat the game, so my capital does not look like your capital. That being said, if you've already beaten the game and you want to get this and you haven't yet, or you haven't been down there, you can still access it after you've beaten the game and the capital's changed. It's actually a lot easier to find. There is a big well right there. And you can hop right down here. Man, that would have been awkward if I died from fall damage. That would have been sad. Alright. And right down here. And then when you're down here, you can traverse this whole area. There's a Grace Point right there. And when you're done traversing it, you'll get to the catacombs, and there's a few shortcuts back here. Standard typical stuff. Okay, so next up is the Reduvias. And to get 2 of these, you're going to have to do some trading. So you're going to have a friend. You're going to have to make an alt, run and grab the dagger, and then trade it to your friend and have your friend trade it to you on your alt, or the character that you want to use both these on. Something to note is that you don't get smart and think that you can upgrade this to +9 and then transfer it to your level 5 character. That's not how it works. So you can only pick up weapons that are dropped that are of the same or lesser reinforcement of your max weapon. So if you have a +4 any weapon, you can only pick up a +4 or less weapon. Uh, that's just how it is. So, if you plan on trying to drop your +9 that you've turbo buffed to your brand new character, you're going to have a hard time and you're going to cry. That being said, to get the Reduvia, you have to go right here to Murkwater Cave. When you roll up to it, there's going to be an invasion, NPC invasion. When you kill the NPC, it'll drop Reduvia for you. So I'll show you how to get there from Agheel Lake North. This is pretty standard waypoint you get right at the beginning of the game. Here's Gatefront, and you for sure get Gatefront. So from here, you're going to hop on your trusty steed, and you're going to head towards the bridge. You head down here. And when you get close, you're going to get dismounted. You get dismounted whenever you have an invasion. I'm sure you probably already know that, though. And then right here around is where you'll fight the invader. There will be an NPC that'll come to help you if you don't kill it fast enough. And you'll get Reduvia. And inside this cave, if you do this cave, is Patches. Patches is back. And if you fight him about halfway through, he'll stop fighting you. And if you save his life, he'll become a vendor and have his own little chain. And if you decide to kill him, he'll drop a bell bearing, so you can still buy what he would vendor to you. Alright, so here we are in Northern Caelid. We're going to go to the Abandoned Cave. That's where you get the Serpent Bow and the Gold Scarab Talisman. So you're going to want to go to Dragon Barrow West. And you can I'll give you a second to see where you're at on the map. So if you're coming from Limgrave, you can definitely def run this at the beginning of the game. So if you're coming from Limgrave, you'll probably want to go up through Stormvale, go across the bridge, head through Summonwater Village, go up along the path, and then go over here to Dragon Barrow West. So from Dragon Barrow West, we're gonna go down this way, and this is kind of a pain in the butt to find if you don't already have it discovered on your map. So you're really gonna want to look at the map and get a good waypoint set. So you're gonna hop over this ravine here and start heading down this way towards it. All right, and you're gonna see it right down there. Get a running start, jump, and double jump, and there you are. You're here. So before you start running around in this cave, there's Scarlet Rot. If you're a brand new character, it's definitely going to be a def run. You're probably not going to be able to beat the boss until you level up a little bit. Basically, you're just going to run through here as fast as you can. You're going to get rotted. Try to avoid those puddles. So as you head through here, right there, you see that dead body down there? This is where you get the Serpent Bow. And then further on, if you death run through here all the way, which I'm going to have to because I can't travel in combat. Well, I can't travel in the cave. But once you get here towards the end, the boss of this cave is a Cleanrot Knight. It's actually two of them. So it'll be kind of difficult if you're a fresh character with pretty low level summons and no stats whatsoever. This is more meant for people like somewhere between level 40 and 60ish, I would say. Uh, Here's the boss arena. Like I said, there's two Clean Out Knights. You kill them and you get the gold Scarab. To get the Mimic Tear, you're going to want to go to Nokrin. If you're not sure how to go to Nokrin, then you can find that on YouTube. There's a plethora of videos showing you how to get here. You have to kill Radahn and Caelid. He's one of the Great Lords. You'll be down here. Well, you have to go here first. It's after you kill him, there's a quest line with Ranni, and you don't have to do Ranni's quest line to do this, but you might as well double up. So you come through here, you kill the Mimic Tear, and you go down the bridge, and you head along this path right here. And if you hug this left wall as soon as you can go down, this like cliff here, you'll get this point right here called Ancestral Woods. And from Ancestral Woods, you can hop down on a bunch of roofs and start doing a little bit of parkour. So you'd be hopping down right here and running along the path. And eventually you're going to get to a waypoint called Night Sacred Ground. I'm kind of backtracking a little bit because I don't feel like wasting your time and running through that whole entire place. But essentially, in this main building, there is a stone sword key spot that you can insert the stone sword key, open up the path, and there's a chest, and that chest has the Mimic Tear. So if you're if it's your first time coming through this area, you're going to be dropping down from right there. And you head over here. There's the stone sword spot. There's a enemy in here. And right here is the chest that has the Mimic Tear. And the Mimic Tear is absurdly busted. Like I said, I have some videos of me killing Moog and Melania with this same build. And yes, the build's busted, and the bleeding is definitely what killed them, but the Mimic Tear is just, it's just so phenomenally powerful. It is super tanky, super healthy. It can roll, it can dodge, it does a ton of damage. And with this build, since it applies bleed, it helps stack bleed. You bleed stuff so fast. And since it attacks super fast, it likes to stagger humanoid enemies, like smaller enemies, a lot. So if you and it are both spamming attacks on something, it gets staggered pretty horribly. And that's just about it for this. Like I said, somewhere between soul level, or my bad, rune level, 125 to 150. You can kind of dump stats however you want, but the rule of thumb is high vigor and 60 arcane. I really would not skimp on the arcane because the blood buildup is just so crucial, and high scaling arcane weapons do so much damage. I know right now the Rivers of Blood, it doesn't really scale damage with arcane. It's kind of busted. A lot of the weapons are. Reduvia is definitely not the case. This gets just a ludicrous amount of damage from the arcane stat. And again, it's not even really the damage you're going for, it's that blood loss buildup. And you can get some pretty insane numbers. There's plenty of ways and opportunities to get larger weapons to basically have a 100% chance of bleeding on first hit. So if you get a great sword, for example, or something similar, that can bleed on one hit and it has a relatively high AR to begin with, there's plenty of room for one-shot potential in PvP, and you can set up some pretty cool movesets with Bloody Slash and stuff like that. And that's about it. I'm gonna throw some footage at the end of me running around Haligtree and the Consecrated Snowfield and the Leonell Catacombs, killing enemies. It's a pretty late level area, so the mobs are pretty healthy, and it's a good example and a showcase of just what kind of damage this build can pump out ridiculously fast. Thanks for watching, guys. You could like and subscribe to the channel if you want to. I'm gonna probably sporadically be uploading stuff about Elden Ring and maybe try to make some more YouTube videos. We'll see where it goes. But again, thanks for watching. And again, you can watch the Moog and Melania videos to see what this build looks like against bosses and all that good jazz. Until next time, see ya.